Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinners. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinners. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Trapped in a box, thoughts locked, programmed to be spooked. I'm on some lynch mob shit, buck the devil programmed to shoot. And got some steel at the tip of my boots just to regulate. We can get it all night and morning, just name the date. And don't hesitate, being a gangster ain't no good if your thoughts is featherweight. I don't care who got the best team, I'm here to drop the word and keep it moving like jet streams. The luster green got my niggas moving like dope fiends. You gotta see the picture, but they ain't made for flat screens. Lemur Park and Skid Row was where he's last seen. Survivalists with holy water filled in his canteen. The boogeyman's here to put an end to American dreams. I'm out of sight of extraterrestrial beings. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep them moving like a tracks on a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Heavyweight Solomon jewels, I use knowledge to rule, rejecting wisdom as an act of a fool. Christ is king, born to rule, let's take him to school. Open up the sword, baby, let it do what it do. Simple as that, Van Helsing the rap. I swing lefty when I'm holding a bat, righty when I'm holding a cat, man. On the highway to heaven, dipping out in the fast lane. I let my hair grow, OD'd on Rogaine. Spit the hot shit, taking shots of propane. SOJ created our own lane, facing for a queen, got no time for a dumb thing. Nowadays to be heard, I gotta be rude and profane. Dumb down my knowledge, make me look like I'm some lame. It's a trip of niggas with chump change, be so vain. It's a principle of truth, IQAhmath his first name. Come on, everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks in a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yeah, okay, so understand what I'm putting out there. Red pillars only, okay? You wanna take the blue pill, microwave, popcorn your ass to death, go ahead. You know, I ain't got time for that, man. I'm too focused for that. The soldiers that I roll with is too focused for that. So if you wanna get down, get your mind right, come and holler at me, you know? Because when Yahweh Shah comes back, it's a rap like a gypsy mummy. A lot of these heathens wanna trip and act a fool. I thug it out for the Lord, and I don't need no tattoos. We drop bombs with the Bible while you stand there baffled, looking like you seen a ghost. I'm with the Lord of hosts. Still keep a hood, crack a yak, and we can take a toast. Cheers.
All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. While you have a shot, it's your brother IQAhmath. I acquire first name. IQ is all the same. Welcome to another episode. DSTM. Don't shoot the messenger. That is restricted. If you come over here, don't come with that BS. You can't shoot the messenger. Sorry, doesn't work that way. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Shabbat shalom to the family, man. Welcome. Shalom, 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 peace, welcome, good afternoon, all that other stuff, man. Because our people get so sensitive about you saying shalom, you said shalom, you said shalom. But I'm gonna give it to you however you like to hear it, all right? Because we all understand and know all interpretations say peace when translated. All right. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? It's Shabbat, man. Leading up to our new moon this evening to be the third new moon of the year. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High for that, man. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Shalom to Ashar, Hashmai, Kohath, Oscar Rob in the house. And anybody else is going to be joining us as we're moving on, welcome. And Shabbat Shalom to you and peace. Look, got a lot we're going to cover, but I'm going to do it in a consolidated amount of time because I don't have a lot of time, but I definitely want to make sure I connect with the fam. People was hitting me. What happened? We ain't seen you. We thought you was going to go last night, and we didn't see you this morning. Don't worry. I'm never going to neglect my people, Lord willing. But just had some things piling up and just trying to get it all out. All right. So with that being said, man, you see the title. Trump doesn't care you're broke and struggling. That's a fact. I got him on record saying he ain't he doesn't think about your money, your finances, when it comes down to what's going on with this economic collapse globally, let alone in your households and mine. He said, I don't even care. I'm not thinking about that. I'm worried about Iran getting a nuke, which we all know is bogus, right? Lie of the week. Do I have another? Did I catch him in another one? You bet I did. We're gonna get to him. All right. Greed and wickedness at its finest, man. You look no further than right here. All right. If you haven't already, man, make sure you wipe your feet. Make sure you wipe your feet, man. Show some love. Kick the algorithm in the buttocks and let it be known that you over here paying attention. You want the algorithm to share it and be visible for others. Maybe they might even notify some of our other subscribers. Who knows? Can't ask for too much when it comes to YouTube, especially our channel, man, because they damn sure don't want nothing we got to say to be heard. But it is what it is. I was just seeing some background, looking at a video they was talking about how the YouTube is switching up the algorithm, and keywords, certain stuff that they are restricting from people saying, doing all this other stuff, man. Faceless channels, they're suppressing. So now that's why you kind of see a lot of these YouTube videos with people putting their faces on the thumbnails and all the other stuff, because YouTube is definitely saying, if we can't identify you, if we can't see who you are, we don't want it. And I got the email saying, we're going to restrict your channel with certain features and all of that, unless we get your ID or your passport. So, they see my face here. They see our faces when brothers teach our classes from Torah Tuesday to, the Sabbath classes, so forth and so on, right? So I don't know what else they want, man. But outside of your blood, fingerprint, biometrics, man, pretty soon that's what it's going to boil down to for us to be able to use these particular platforms. So whoever decides that they want to, ride with it, so be it. It is what it is. It's funny that as I'm saying this, I'm seeing the live count. People either dropping off or getting kicked off the live. Who knows? But nonetheless, man, this word ain't for everybody anyway. So let's get to it, man. Let me share my screen, and we're gonna jump right into it. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I'll do it this way. All right. Let's catch him in the lie of the week. The lie of the week. Let's blow him up. 10-year span. 10-year span. Who I miss? Big up. My sister Sharon Wallace out there. Sharon out there in England. All praises. Prayerfully you and the sisters are well out there. All right. Happy new moon to you as well. Feel the difference. Trump before and after AIPAC funding. All right. So what's AIPAC? Those who don't know, who aren't hip, most of y'all know, but if you don't, AIPAC is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee This is a lobbying, a pro-Israel lobbying group. They spend a lot of money on politicians to make sure that pro-Israeli, not Israelite, Israeli agendas get carried out. You know, when you hear that word Zionists, they're the ones who's behind AIPAC, right? So let's see what Trump, how we spoke about AIPAC and lobbying groups back in 2015, and then what's the difference in 2025, 10 years later?
The donors, the special interests, the lobbyists have very strong power over these people. They have a lot of control over our politicians. And I don't say that favorably.
This is our first Jewish president. We thank you for everything.
You're not going to support me, even though you know I'm the best thing that could ever happen to Israel. You're not going to support me because I don't want your money. I love Israel. I'm with you all the
way. Do I need to keep it? That's only 20 seconds. 20 seconds already. Let me back him up real quick, right? And then I'll let it finish.
Over our politicians. And I don't say that favorably.
This is our first Jewish president. We thank you for everything.
You're not going to support me, even though you know I'm the best thing that could ever happen to Israel. You're not going to support me because I don't want your money. I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger.
But a lot of bad decisions that are being made for the benefit of lobbyists and special interests. You better get rid of the super PACs because they're causing a big problem.
We have to get the people of our country, of this country, to love Israel more. That are Jewish people, that are great people, they don't love Israel enough.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. Did he take the bag? Did he, put himself out there for the money? I mean, let it be known. That's been the word now. That's what all of the MAGA supporters and the MAGA maniacs and the cave dwellers, man, that's been riding with him with their little red and white hats on all the time. Now all the word is he's a puppet for Israel. He's a puppet for Netanyahu. He took the money. He's being manipulated. Why? Because they was listening to him in 2015 saying that I'm an outsider. I don't deal with these with these lobbyist groups and this, that, and the third, and all these politicians are bought off. How do I know? Because I used to line their pockets as well. And they thought that he was an outside guy, man, blue collar guy, picked himself up off of the dust and made himself into a billionaire mogul with real estate and so forth and so on, which was all a lie. He got $1 million+ loan from a so-called loan from his father to get everything rolling for him. And they believed that he was going to come in and change the game, that he wasn't a politician. He was a businessman. He, was going to turn America around into a great empire. And he had his head on straight. And all of a sudden now, he's the first Jewish president. He doesn't need the money, but he's going to take it anyway. Proverbs 11:18, the wicked worketh a deceitful work. That's all that he's been doing, is working pure deceit, pure lies, and is getting blasted on every social media alternative news account that you can find, and even mainstream news is now saying, hey, you seen the cat last week when I played the brother in the farms, and he was like, I don't want to call my president a liar, but these things ain't adding up. It's not the truth. It's like, well, damn, if it ain't a truth, it's a lie. But they still have a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith in him. Meanwhile, he's out there cooking up all kind of deceitful works. But to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. That's the only thing that we can count on, is to maintain and move in our righteousness, because otherwise this whole earth is filled with deceit. It's being worked by deceitful workers, the elites, so-called white man, and all of his cohorts, his billionaire butt buddies. They're all working nothing but deceitful works. And Lord willing, I'm going to continue to try to show a lie a week, if possible, that, people have to see and understand that when we call him in their operation and the government, so forth, under Satan's authority, and the devil is not for play. It's not to sound extremist. It's not to sound edgy and rebellious. No, there's truth behind what we say. When we say devil, we mean a deceiver, not one with the damn horns and pitchforks and hoofs prancing around in the center of the earth. No, we're talking about high-level, deceitful men and women operating an empire in pure wickedness, evil, unrighteousness, that's anti-biblical. Although they say in God we trust, I mean, we're talking about the epitome of deceitful workers. And they just so happen to look like him. And I know the other, the sympathists to say, well, there's black devils too. Yeah, sure. There are. And we call them out too. Let's move on.
The donors, the special.
Here he goes.
Every goal is different out here. Every cheer bouncing off the concrete and the palm trees.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran,
If you couldn't hear or understand the question, she said, dealing with the war in Iran, how much does America's finances affect your ability to negotiate for peace? He said, not even a little bit.
not even a little bit. The only thing that matters.
Financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that matters.
That's the only thing where, so if for anybody who's still holding out hope, for anybody that's still clinging on to, listen, man, hold on. What's wrong with this thing? Anybody of our people, man, who's sitting out there holding out hope, still thinking that he's got your best interest at heart. Remember that short-term pain, long-term gain? Oh, don't worry. You're going to have a little bit of pain for a little bit, but long-term, you're going to prosper. Oh, the tariffs. Yeah, you're going to get taxed. You're going to pay a little higher prices, but guess what? You're going to get the dividends back. All of the money's going to come back. I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to get all these companies, these billionaire companies. They're going to pay higher taxes. I'm going to get them on the tariffs, and you're going to reap the benefits. None of that happened. Meanwhile, I've shown you this guy since he's been in office that made over $5-6 billion in a year and some change. That is a cold hustle. When you can gross damn near $6 billion in a year, all off a line and flapping your lips about policies and starting wars and raping and pillaging countries, kidnapping presidents, letting loose your private armies out on the streets, seizing and gaffling up people that was over here just trying to make a living. I mean, come on. And our people still sitting back saying, we got to support him. Not only that, his own goofy people are still out there. A lot of them, they hitting the wall. A lot of them is crashing out and they losing their minds. They going crazy over their finances because now they living like niggas. Let's put it blunt. They seen what it's like to live like us. And now they like, we don't like it. We don't like having to work and have nothing to show for it. We don't like coming home tired and burnt out every day and getting back up and washing and repeating it over and over again and having our pockets as a bag full of holes, as the book of Haggai says. See, Proverbs 3:31 says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So he's telling you, support the war. Everything's fine. I got it under control. Iran is decimated. They don't have any anything going for them anymore. We've drained everything. All lies, right? And now he's saying exactly what. See, that's why I say let him speak. Let him go ahead on and tell on himself, because he just essentially gave you his inner thoughts live and on camera. Just had to ask him the question. Hey, how much does America's finances, play into your thoughts regarding negotiating a peace deal with Iran? Not at all. Nothing. I don't think about their finances. I don't think about nothing. Oh, really? You seeing these Edomites, man, on TikTok and all over the place? They going crazy about this. Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Yea, ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. That is the lifestyle that the children of Israel, blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics have been living for centuries since being over here. Everything that we work for, it goes right back into this system. You go out there, you work 8, 9, 10 hours, 12 hours, some working 16 hours a day. All to throw it back into your gas tank, all to go back into a mortgage or rent for a place that right now you can't even enjoy because you're working so much. The only thing you can do is utilize it for a place of shelter, to go to sleep, to eat, and then to go right back out and grind again. And by the way, that same place that you got really ain't yours because it's under a 30-year mortgage. Even he's pushing for 50-year mortgages, whereas damn near you're forever a debt slave. And let's say, okay, cool, you pay it off, but guess what? You don't pay taxes on that land. You don't pay the taxes on that land. Guess what's coming for it? You missed some tax payments, man. We need that back. Get that paycheck, pay the mortgage, pay your rent, pay your car note, pay your insurance, pay your life insurance, pay your electric bill, your cell phone bill, your streaming services. You pay for your grocery bill. What do you have left? Hey, he says you drink, but ye are not filled with drink. You can't trust the water coming out the tap, so you're buying water. And then you're saying, well, if it's in the bottles, man, the BPA, I can't get the bottle. I got to get glass. Oh, the glass ain't good enough. Now I got to get a water purifier to put on my sink so I can make sure I'm not drinking it. I mean, come on. That's the trap. And this is what we've been going through all day long. And now, look, white man's out here ready to. But we seen that in Great Depression. They ready to jump out the damn windows and commit suicide. They wilding out. I would play one of the videos, man, but dude, one of the dudes, man, he's just cussing too much. I can't even do it even for YouTube standards. I mean, they already got our foot on our neck. I don't want them to completely just wipe us out. But if you look around, you're gonna see, man, people are feeling the pressure, man, and it is out of control. And he sit back and say, "Oh, I don't care. That doesn't come to my mind. I'm not thinking about that at all. Not at all." Let him finish. Oh, come on, man. You got one ad off. Other one? Dang.
Go ahead. When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that bothers me.
Did you say earlier that the only thing that matters to you when it comes to Iran is a nuclear weapon? You're not considering the financial impact of this war on Americans?
The most important thing by far, including whether our stock market, which, by the way, is at an all-time high.
See, they run that game all the time. Remember Pam Bondi before he fired her, when she sat before that congressional hearings and they was on her case about the Epstein files and all of that, and she was like, "Why are we talking about this? The stock market is at an all-time high. The S&P 500 is hit 50 points," and they was like, "B, we not talking about the stock market. We're talking about them files." So every time he tries to default, and look at this orange orangutan face here. Oh, this is disgusting. Crow's feet all over the. Every time it's default, and let's talk the stock market. Well, guess what? The stock market just got hit the other day. It had a massive dip. So that's always the default. And what's so interesting as well as this, who does he sound like? Excuse me. Who does he sound like? Who's been talking about Iran is close to a nuclear weapon. We got to stop it. For the last 30 plus years, Benjamin Netanyahu, y'all seen all of the compilations of him talking about how close they are. They're close for 30 years. I played a compilation a while back. I'm sure y'all remember or have seen it. That's his masters talking to him. He's basically repeating what he's been told. We can't let him get a nuclear weapon. We can't let him get a nuclear weapon. Forget everything else.
But including whether or not our stock market goes up or down a little bit, the most important thing by far is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
What about the pressure on Americans and prices right now?
Every American understands.
Americans, how they're feeling about
Every American, are you listening to me? Every American understands, and they just had a poll, like 85%, which is surprising. It's only that they understand that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
What? Where was this poll at? The only poll I've been seeing is that his approval rating is dropping. You're gonna sit back and lie and say every American, 80. Have you seen the 80? Are you listening to me? And she's like, "What about food? What about gas? What about people struggling? Are you not hearing the cries of your so-called people?" He says everybody's in favor of what's going on. Nobody's tripping. Sirach 13:20. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. See, that's what we're dealing with. The rich, he hates poor, i.e., blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics. Like, we're the ones who's mostly adverse to what's going on. The so-called poor whites, the white trash, the ones who the blue collar, when that six figures that used to be something ain't nothing no more. Now they're whining about it because they went and paid for the degrees. They're still paying loans, to get that degree or that certification, or to get, into particular positions of business that 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago meant something when you was getting six figures. Now that's damn near middle to lower class because of inflation and the way that society is going. Now they're feeling the pinch. See, the proud hates humility. They don't want. This is why he's got his nose up, man. He's not trying to be humble. He's not recognizing. Look, America's in a bad spot right now financially. Damn near $40 trillion in debt. Your administration is constantly firing and having people resign every other week. The military base is struggling. They're in rebellion, and many are coming out, whistleblowing, exposing what's going on. They've been exposed for being PDF files and degenerates when it comes down to their dealings with young children. And he said, man, he's not going to try to be humble and debase himself over it. He's like, man, what? I don't have no problems. When's the last time you think he was at a gas pump? Pumping anything? When's the last time you think he went to the grocery store? Not at all. Right? I think I want 21. Job 21. Let me see. Yeah, 21. And that's verse 7. That says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. It says, where and how does this happen? Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. This is why they generationally pass down, particular inheritances. If you even look at, some of the alleged bloodline ties within the presidencies, they say Obama and the Bushes, I believe, are related somehow. I mean, so they know how to intertwine and interbreed their particular rulerships, same way they do in England and everywhere else. Their seed is established in the sight of them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of the Most High upon them. So they're out here living carefree. They're not even concerned about the judgment of the Most High. They said their houses are safe from fear. He's talking about getting up 1 point something billion to get that damn ballroom set up. He ain't worried about no assassinations. They set them all up anyway. They're living on private island redoubts and got their little bunkers and everything. They figured they're not running and they're not fearful of anything. Living in the high top mountains, gated communities. He ain't worried about the outside world. He has no connection with it at all. Their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calfeth and casteth not her calf. So, in other words, the things that help them create and generate wealth is not failing. They constantly are compounding more money. In times like now, when everybody else is struggling, they're out here hedging their bets in poly market, making hundreds of thousands of dollars with insider trader information, getting tips about the war, getting tips about military decisions and presidential decisions. They're throwing it back into the stock market. They're manipulating the fund. I mean, they're doing it all. Nothing that they do is failing. In times when you were thinking like, how come they ain't struggling? How come they? The game is rigged. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth. That's why he said, I'm not thinking about America's money. What? All I'm worried about is Iran not getting a nuclear weapon. They know they ain't got no damn nuclear weapon. Didn't he just say in Operation Midnight Hammer that they wiped out their whole nuclear facility, that they had no resources or no recourse to be able to build a nuclear weapon? Mission complete damn near a year ago? Huh? I thought he said, didn't he say that? Or is he lying again? You supposedly accomplished that almost a year ago, that they can't have a nuclear weapon. They already destroyed everything and every resource that they had if we listen to you. But they spend their days well, and in a moment go down to the grave. That's when the judgment of the Lord happens. Therefore, they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. They don't expect him to have an ounce of fear of God in his body, man. The only thing he fears is damn Satan and Beelzebub and any other damn God he wants to call upon. For all, you name it. Right? What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. So, he's saying, hey, I'm poor, short-term pain, long-term gain. They didn't get the memo. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not broke. I'm cool. Proverbs 14:31. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his neighbor, his maker. But he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. So that should already be signed, sealed, delivered. The white man don't give a damn about the Most High because he doesn't have mercy on the poor. So he does not honor and cannot show the Most High any particular honor in his body because he does not care. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker. So he's only building more judgment upon himself by making silly statements like that, talking about not at all. I'm not thinking about them being broke. Why he in a time like this? Even if you're a politician, your job is to sway people's minds, votes. You're supposed to gain favor, win the what was it, in biblical terms, Sirach, I think it's in 7, and I think this is 7. No, maybe it's what's that one? I thought it was 7. Maybe is it 11? Let me think. I don't think it's 11. Hold on. 4. There you go. All praises. Most I'll put it back in my mind. Let's put it in biblical terms. As a politician, this is your job. Sirach 4:7, get thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man. So he's supposed to be getting the love of the people. He's supposed to be trying to be a quote unquote man of the people, a politician of the people, represent democracy, represent free market, all that other stuff, right? This is if we're talking about the American dream, which we know is an American nightmare. But now they're at the point where it's mask off, gloves off. You seeing who they are for what they are and what he's always stood for. And now people are sitting back in astonishment saying, I can't believe it. I thought that MAGA, I thought he was a good guy. I thought he was going to look out for, I thought he was going to make sure that we're, only thing they doing is looking out for themselves. And that's all. The same folks down there, man, when we're dealing with the redistricting in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, so forth and so on, them same poor, dusty heathen down there who's voting and thinking, hey, blacks gonna get restricted. Yeah, white power. Look for those what you're gonna call casualties of war. I always say it. They're gonna get left out on the stoop too. Those are some of the main ones out there yelling and screaming, talking about how could you leave us hanging? You lied to us. Look, they got caught up in the myth that all of them see, and that's how so strategic the so-called white man is he'll leave some of his own out just so that we can't say all of them got money, all of them are successful, all of them benefit off the system. No. That's why they have what they classify as quote unquote white trash, trailer trash, right? The ones in the Appalachian Mountains, the inbred ones in West Virginia, the ones living in the trailer parks in Arkansas and Alabama and Detroit. Yeah, those are the ones who got left behind. Those are the ones we say, hey, sorry. I mean, we got to leave some of y'all out. You know, I'm seeing some of them walking around in Watts. Now, me and the elder was rolling a few months back, rolling down damn 103rd and Central, and 2 or 3 damn Edomite sloppy looking heathens crossing the street, looking as dusty as ever. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, hell no. We was like, oh, no. I said, hey, they here too now, man. They in there making themselves comfortable. This is not gentrification, mind you. Now, this is trash walking around in the hood amongst Jake on EBT and all of that. So that they can't say, hey, all of us ain't got it. So that narrative can get wiped out. No, those are the casualties of war, man. The ones who are benefiting know what they're doing. But for him to just come out and just say, hey, look, man, the mask is off. This is what it is. I don't give a damn about you, money, finances. All I know is me and mine are profiteering off of this war. We're getting everything that we're supposed to be getting about the deal before it's all said and done. He know he got 2.5 years left. He's about to lose the primaries in November. By all intent, well, who knows? He might do what they say, steal it. The way he's doing his redistricting and shutting down the black vote and all the other stuff. Who knows? There might be a wild surprise coming in November. Or they may push the panic button and institute a black swan event, man, to really shut everything down. You already see they're trying to do it with the with the hantavirus thing jumping off, which I've been talking about for a long time. That he's got a number of different things in his arsenal to extend his power, and all of them lead to the same goal. All of them lead to the same goal, whether it's lockdowns from a virus, lockdown, martial law from civil unrest, whether it's from warfare, economic collapse, so forth. They all lead into the new age of a digital ID, the NWO, call it what you want. The beast system and the sheer utter enslavement of everybody, that's really what it all leads to. They just got different paths on how they're going to get it done. Getting back to this, right? So as we see here, He just got through saying he's not thinking about American finances. It doesn't matter. As banks swipe up 42,000 homes of struggling Americans in just 1 month, he says, I don't care about that. That's because he deals in real estate, right? Like 2008, remember when that crash happened and so many people lost their homes and people was back living in mama's house and renting out rooms and living in garages with hot plates, trying to rebuild their lives again, bankruptcy filings going wild. We're headed down the same path again. And can you imagine 42,000 people lost their homes in a month? 42,000 people are more or less homeless, or already knew the writing was on the wall and they went back renting again, or they living out their car. You know, that's how they're kind of making it trendy now. And then not even now, especially during COVID, van life, trailer van, what do they call them? Tiny homes, conditioning everybody to feel comfortable and saying, hey, nothing wrong with living in your car. Nothing wrong with living in your camper van. And mind you, there is some wisdom in that because, hey, being completely away from it, the chains of the debts of having, to pay rent, mortgage, and so forth and so on. But at the same time, if your van or whatnot ain't paid off, you're still paying that damn car note. You're still paying for gas. You're still paying the fees to post up at a trailer park place where you can hook up your stuff. So I mean, it's a catch-22. I can see and understand if somebody says, "Man, look, I'm sick of paying for all this, man. I got a nice little camper van, a trailer that I'm living in. I'm living on the road and whatever." Okay, cool. But there is psychological warfare that goes on where they're trying to tell everybody, look, you own nothing, have nothing, and be happy. Right? So when it's glorified and you get influencers and all that jumping on line talking about how great it is to live in the car or live in a van, like, since when was that cool? Only if you're trying to make everybody be comfortable and having less. And then saying, you're doing good with less. Think about it. 42,000 people, man, lost their homes in a month. Foreclosure filings across the U.S. have surged 18% compared to last year, and a troubling sign that mounting financial pressure is beginning to hit homeowners. So 18% higher last year. Was Trump president last year? Yeah. Is he president this year? Yeah. Can he blame slow Biden or whoever? No. You didn't have the keys for a hot minute now, and it's only getting worse, right? But that's how it goes. And now you get these particular corporations, man, who are buying up all of these homes, pennies on the dollar, from the banks, and they're transforming them into, sustainable living, smart homes, so that they can have, eyes and ears on everything that's going on, or they're building into affordable, so-called affordable living, apartments and whatnot, man, and they're cutting out anybody that's trying to buy homes again. So real estate is going in a whole nother direction. People losing it all. Corporations coming in, buying it all up so that they can reconfigure everything by 2030. That's part of Agenda 2030. And next thing you know, the only options people are going to have is to be a forever renter, or, living in a 15-minute city that's closely monitored by drones and digital IDs and so forth and so on. Right? So the beast system is in full effect. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And he says, hey, I don't care. This is all going according to plan. Doesn't care. Flights canceled. USA Today, Texas, LA, Las Vegas, New York, Orlando, Philly, and more. 113 flights canceled and delayed. Why is this happening? They ain't got the damn gas. They ain't got the gas. A lot of stuff is getting shut down. A lot of industries is getting shut down and suffering because what? They can't afford to operate. Can't afford to operate. And he says that's great. But look what he is focused in on. This is how you know This dude is twisted, and he's still operating in the spirit of his ancestors, i.e., Caesar and Antiochus, so forth and so on. Right? The cage match is on for tickets to Trump's UFC fight at the White House. So he's building a cage and setting up a whole UFC octagon ring on the White House lawn so that he can have his own little private gladiator showing. 4,000 plus spectators who are lucky enough, cunning enough, or rich enough will score a seat to the fight on the South Lawn next month. So while he's not worried about whether or not you can pay for your gas or your, when you're trying to figure out, can I skip my whatever, my phone bill so I can buy some food, he's over here setting up a new arena so that he can have a spectator sport jump off, bread and circuses. Well, not even bread and circuses, because that was for the poor people to show up to go eat, so that he can, the Romans were able to have them continually be entertained and give them a little bread to gain favor as they got to see a live fight. But here he is doing the same thing. In trademark fashion, the president created an insatiable demand for an event held in conjunction with his 80th birthday on June 14th and a months-long celebration of the nation's 250th anniversary, which we brought out before. The estimated time of every empire lasts around 250 years. Collectively, if you add them all up, yes, some had longer reigns and whatnot, but if you add them all up and you do the consensus by percentages, 250 years is the average time of every empire. And America's having their so-called birthday July 4th. So that should give us at least a little bit of a hint that if things are trending in the same way and there's nothing new under the sun, and the Most High said he declared the end from the beginning and so forth and so on, there's not much more that we need to research and figure out outside of the fact that the common trend is this always happens, and we see the declining power of America more and more every day. So the fact that we're at the 250 year, yeah, that means that this place is on its decline. Once it hits that mark and goes down, it's going down. No pun intended. Continuing on, it says, with a limited supply of tickets, Trump has handpicked most of the 4,000 plus spectators lucky enough, cunning enough, or rich enough to score a seat on the South Lawn. I'm going to make a lot of enemies because it's impossible to get everyone tickets, the president said Friday in a telephone interview with NBC News. Technically, all of the tickets are free, and the UFC is footing the bill for the event, but sponsorship packages that include ringside seats have been selling for $1 million or more. According to the Republican lobbyist directly familiar with the process, one report put the figure at $1.5 million. So if they're technically free, but if you want to sponsor the event and get a front row seat, you can pay $1 million or $1.5 million. Man, who's getting that money? Huh? Who's collecting from that? Why you say I'm gonna make a lot of enemies? They're not gonna like it. This dude is wicked as hell, man. Let me see if I can get the second Maccabees to work as I figured. Come on, that ain't what I was trying to do. Slack you. Let's go second Maccabees. And let's look at chapter 4. Right. And let's drop down. I want to read this whole thing, but let me try to breeze through it, right? This Simon now, of whom we spake before, having been a betrayer of the money and his country, slandered Onias. So Simon had played out Israel. He went to Heliodorus, was a Greek king at the time, and told him about the stash of money that was at the temple. The temple had a vast amount of wealth that wasn't being taxed or put under tribute because it was there to help the widows and the fatherless and whatnot. It was there to help the nation. Simon, trying to be a Uncle Tom, try to gain favor with Heliodorus, and was like, look, temple's got all kind of money in there that they ain't reporting the taxes. You should get that. Heliodorus put out a edict to go get the money, and the priest prayed, and the children of Israel prayed, and they ended up having a couple of angels, man, went and tore up Heliodorus man up and jacked him up, and preserved the treasury for a minute. But nonetheless, this is the type of um, intertribal warfare that was going on within Israel, man. Power struggles, men desires to be in favor with the Greeks, willing to sell out their own people. Remember in First Maccabees chapter 1 and 11, it said that during the time of Antiochus' rule and during the time of the Seleucid Empire, it said wicked men came out and persuaded many to be like the Greeks. Let me get that real quick. Because you had a lot of, sure y'all done read those before, and we've covered that many a time, right? But there was a lot of wicked men like Simon, Alcimus, Menelaus. There was a lot of wicked cats, man, that was doing evil within Israel and seducing our people and having us follow after unrighteousness. So when you see the inner fightings that go on, even within our community right now, you got to think about these times right here. I mean, who's doing what and for what motivation? Why is there so much hate, this discord that happens within the Israelite community? Well, it really wasn't too much different back then, but you had men that was motivated for different reasons. But look at this, First Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Right, now look at this. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. The customs of the heathen. If you look up the etymology of the gymnasium and all that, it says it's a place of exercise where they exercise naked, right? And it said Israel went to go seek out a license, get permission, so that they can go out there and do the same things that the heathen was doing, man. Go into the bath houses, building up places to exercise, walking around in nakedness, remaining uncircumcised, breaking the covenant, all those things, right? And they had leaders in the community saying, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's right. You should do that. Listen, don't listen to them over-righteous brothers over there. You don't need to do that no more. We're doing it this way now. Listen, those guys are going to get persecuted. They're going to put to death. You want to be on that side? You want to get put to death with them? Hey, the grass is green over here with Esau. I don't know about y'all, but when this all goes down, man, I ain't going to be getting put to death for none of you niggas. I'm staying over here with what? With boss. See, that's what was going on. So it says, this Simon, now of whom we spake afore, having been a betrayer of the money and his country, slandered Onias, as if he had terrified Heliodorus and been the work of these evils. Thus he was bold to call him a traitor, that had deserved well of the city and tendered of his own nation, and was zealous of the laws. But when their hatred went so far that by one of Simon's faction murders were committed, Onias, seeing the danger of this contention, and that Apollonius as being the governor of Cilicia in Phoenice, did rage and increase Simon's malice. So look, it got so bad, and the hatred was so bad that men was getting put to death. Simon's men was out there putting to death men under Onias. Onias was the high priest. So Onias said, man, this is getting too deep, man. Jake's getting put to death over all this hate, right? Now, dropping down, I just want to get to this particular point. Now, Simon had committed many Israelites to be part of Greek games, Greek culture, and all that other stuff, right? So look here, it says, besides this, so he gave money to the king and all of that. And now he says, I'm going to commit to you men in your entertainment games. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place of exercise, and for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of the Antiochians or Antiochians. So now he said he's gonna have 150 men. And he said they're gonna train. He's gonna pay them more talents of money as long as they can get a place of exercise to be built up and start training the youth in the fashions of the heathen. So here they're gonna have them butt naked wrestling, doing the discus, fighting, doing all kind of stuff with each other. You know, that's why some people, you know, within Israel, man, are just anti-sports. They like, man, I ain't doing that, man. The heathen used to have us like that. I get it. Now, self-admittedly, I like to take in a good game or two or whatever the case may be. If time permits, I'll watch it. I'm not so, but I understand the argument. And could I be even more disciplined in saying, man, the hell with that? I don't support. Now, I've definitely had counsels and talked to brothers that came into the truth who were in particular sports, combat sports, like, you know, UFC and stuff like that, and had to tell brothers, like, look, or boxing, and tell brothers, look, these particular sports were fashioned after us fighting and battling each other. Here we are trying to talk about peace and the tribes got to get along. We got to figure out who we are, blah, 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 blah. And now we're sanctioning you to go in there and go put the beats on your brother. Like, that doesn't work. Let alone the biggest fights are happening on the Sabbath. Unless you're like some main event and you're not fighting until Saturday night, that ain't happening. If you amateurs, you fighting on Friday nights, you fighting on Saturday during the day in the lower cards. Unless you're getting some fights during the week or whatever the case may be. If you're compromising the Sabbath, you can't do it. I remember one brother, man, he understood, he was with it, and he stopped for a while, but he ended up falling out the truth, man. And we talked later, and he still had animosity because I told him he couldn't fight on the Sabbath and couldn't fight. But that's what happens. Tough decisions got to be made, man, and people want to be. Got to understand, this is what was going on. They were training men up, man, to go fight for Esau, man, to go be put out there in the gladiator games and go put in the Olympics and go put in these particular sports. And Trump doing the same thing. They setting up a whole new arena so he can have a fight on his birthday, the same way that, you know, Caesar would do or whatnot, man, or the kings of Egypt, events going down on their birthdays. And he following the same thing. Now look at this. And they had a name too, the Antiochians. Which when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemius, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself and brought the chief young men under his subjection and made them wear a hat. Now such was the height of Greek fashions and an increase in heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch and no high priest. Now look down here. It says that the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar. So the priests stopped serving the Most High. They ended up, you know, leaving off of their duties. You got the young men out here dressing like the heathen, training up butt naked in the gymnasiums and all that other stuff, man, engaging in all kind of damn sodomite type activities. Everything's in complete disarray. The priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowances in the place of exercise after the game of discus. Called them forth. Now, isn't discus one of the Olympic sports? Right? It says, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. So they left off all of the customs of our people, the glory of our people, the legacy of our people, the history of our people, the laws and the commandments of our people, and said, we like doing how the Greeks do better than all of that. So historically, we see when he's doing this type of stuff, man, set up a new arena. We're going to have new gladiator games. Nothing new under the sun. And this is just another aspect to where we can line up and say, okay, well, the fourth beast that was in Revelation 13 and the Revelation, Daniel, the 7th chapter, and 2nd Ezra, chapter 11 and 12, Revelation 17, and talk about a little horn that came out the last one. And America is fashioned after Rome and from the architecture, to the way that the government is set up with the House and the Senate. And listen, there's no mistaking. You can't get around it. Now you're even seeing he's setting up a damn coliseum, a mini coliseum of games, so he can be entertained on his birthday. I mean, god dang, how much more do we need to see? Oh, you damn Bible thumpers are too literal. It's too crazy. Nah, I don't see it. All right, that's why the Lord said 2/3 of our people got to go, man. Got to go. Let's move on. Spain called for an EU army. So last week we seen Great Britain was saying that they needed to assemble a navy. Remember that? 9 other nations going to join Great Britain to make the 10. Now we're seeing Spain is even coming out. So why are we seeing the European nations now moving separate from America? America's still part of NATO, but they're on the outs looking in, man. Ever since the Greenland deal and all that other stuff, man, and Trump calling them out saying, if you want the oil, come get it yourself and stop begging me. And, oh, you don't want to come help in the strait, forget you then. Oh, you're not going to help me with Greenland. Maybe I'll just leave NATO, or maybe I'll just let you Russia bomb you. So now the EU and the 10 horns are saying we can't depend on this whore no more. We can't depend on the mother harlot no more. We can't depend on her. So we need to get our navy together. We need to get our army together. Slowly but surely, we see all of the pieces of the puzzle coming together according to biblical prophecy. Okay. Spain called for EU army. Bloc cannot count on U.S.-led NATO to provide security guarantees, the minister suggests. Spain has called for the creation of a European Union army to replace the protections offered by NATO. Jose Manuel Alvarez and its foreign minister suggested the bloc may not be able to count on the U.S.-led military alliance to provide security guarantees. Mr. Alvarez said that if the EU did not rely on NATO, Donald Trump could not hold its security to ransom. So this obviously they're showing that they're trying to be sovereign. They're trying to separate from America. They know that they can't count on America when it comes down to things of warfare, and they can't trust them. So they're building up their own army, which eventually is going to be part of the World War III dynamic. And they know that they're going to have to turn on America eventually. So they're getting ready now. Iran threatens to obliterate U.S. ships as peace deals hangs in the balance. And experts say Tehran has enough plutonium reserves for 200 nuclear bombs. They can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't. I don't care if you're poor. There you go. So this is it. They know Iran has been rebuilding up every little thing that America's destroyed. They got missiles galore ready to go. This is why he's paranoid, because they lied about the Operation Midnight Hammer a year ago, saying they obliterated their nuclear facilities. They got nothing left. They know they lied about it. We know that Iran, which is the descendants of Elam, I've covered that before, where the scriptures say, man, the strength of the bow, that's their power, man. The missiles, they can build something up in a couple of weeks. That's why they got the heavy drone attacks. They got all them damn missiles. America's in trouble, man. All right. China's terrifying World War III coming to conflict, warning to Trump over Taiwan. You know, he just went and visited Moab earlier this week. They left out of there saying, oh, we had a good talk. You know, we're building relationships back, and China wants to help us with the Iran conflict and opening the strait up. China don't give a damn about the strait because they already got a relationship with Iran, and Iran's been letting Chinese ships go back and forth. China's been cool. See, there's conflicting stories that come out there. China's like, yeah, it was cool, but, you know, we're talking about Taiwan. We already laid it down. They asked Trump, they said, if China makes a move on Taiwan, or basically like if, I think it's in this article. Hold on, let me just make sure. I don't want to misquote nothing. Bottom line, they talks that they had, it boiled down to China and Taiwan, and Trump did not want to commit to saying, I won't help Taiwan. I'll let you have what you want. And that's when China was like, okay, say that then. And that's what it's going to be. For President Xi, Taiwan is the one issue that could lead to trouble between the U.S. and China if it isn't handled correctly. While meeting with Trump in Beijing, Xi Jinping warned the U.S. leader that the U.S. and China could, quote, come into conflict if the Taiwan issue isn't handled correctly. Chinese state media have reported. And he's on record for the last couple of years been saying He's giving Taiwan till 2027 to come back under the umbrella of China, or else they're going to get it back by hook or by crook. And the only defense that Taiwan has is to cry on the shoulders of America and say, help. Now, Xi Jinping said, hey, you know, next year, man, I'm making my move. You going to get in the way? And Trump was like, can we talk about it again later? He's like, look, we're going to come into it. It's going to be a problem if you get in the way. No comment. Okay, well then guess what? We might have to come in and comment. It might be a problem. It says a readout posted on X by the Chinese Foreign Ministry showed that during a meeting with Trump, Xi told spokesperson Mao Ning that the Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. If it is handled properly, the bilateral relationship will enjoy overall stability. Otherwise, the two countries will have clashes and even conflicts, putting the entire relationship in great jeopardy, she noted. And you know what's so crazy about this too is this dude went over there, man, and puckered up on that damn Moabite's cheeks. He told them, man, that China can buy more farmland over here. That he was going to open up the door for 500,000 Chinese students and migrants to come over here so that they can learn and build up the industries and all this other stuff, man. I want, if I don't have it on here, I'm gonna see if I can find the article that was talking about the things that he offered to him, just to try to keep the peace. But now it says that if the U.S. gets in the way of China's business with Taiwan, it said they could put their relationship in great jeopardy and even conflicts. So that's something else we need to worry about. Not necessarily worry about, or need to we be aware of, I should say, come next year. Border Patrol chief resigns in the latest immigration team shakeup. Here's another guy gone. I mean, every week we keep seeing somebody, and he's over there talking about how Iran's military and their whole leadership is in great discord and confused, and all the leaders are gone, and it's just the opposite. Look at this. The head of the U.S. Border Patrol is leaving his role, the latest shakeup in the team overseeing President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement amid the White House shift in posture towards illegal immigration. The head of ICE, Kristi Noem, she got chopped. Her head got chopped off in '86, a few months back. Who was it? One of the heads of ICE. He had to get reprimanded and demoted after they smoked that Edomite up there in Minnesota. Now you got this guy, Mike Banks. He's like, look, this is getting messy. I don't want my legacy attached to this. I'm gonna go ahead and gracefully bow out. I'm gonna get on out of here. So I can't be held accountable for what's coming up in the near future. Who knows? And that's another thing, man. We don't know what they're hearing behind closed doors about what type of moves they're gonna make, from these detention centers that's getting built up all over the place, surveillance systems being set up all over the place. They might be hearing the word like, boom, a word is finna go down the pipeline soon, and I don't want no parts of it. I'm going to resign and get up out of here before it's too late. I don't want my hands on that. I don't want no blood on my hands. Y'all are going too far. Personally, I think that's part of what's going on. That they're getting word like, oh, this is where this is going. I thought this was about securing the border, getting a wall. I thought this was about, protecting the country and jobs and getting the criminals off the street. Oh, you're trying to completely crack down and lock down and all dissidents and anybody who goes against the regime. Oh, that's what NSPM 7 is about? Weeding out any of the far left people, anybody anti-Christian, anti-American, oh, really? Oh, the people who's Bible thumping? Yeah, we're going to have to get all of them locked up and detained? Yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's not what I signed up for. I'm thinking more or less on those lines. Not just overall a collapse, but hey, they might be getting some words like, hey, I'm out of here. Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks said in a Fox News interview Thursday he is resigning from his position effective immediately. He didn't give 2 weeks. This guy said, but I'm out. To quote, enjoy the family and life. Yeah, why? It's just time. Oh, before it's too late? Is that what you mean? He told Fox News, adding he feels it's the right moment to step down after he, quote, got the ship back on course from the least secure, disastrous, chaotic border to the most secure border in the country has ever seen. So at the height of success, he says, yeah, it's time to go. Not stay in, not to ensure that this so-called success of the disastrous, chaotic border is now under control, not get a promotion, maybe get some more money out the deal because he did such a good job. Oh, now is when you decide to say, I'm out of here after you. Come on, man. I don't know. Call me crazy, call me a conspiracy, but don't call me when it hits the fan. Continuing on, Cuba says it has completely run out of fuel, blames the U.S. embargo. So if he don't give a damn about Cuba in complete collapse, you know when he says, I don't think about American finances and none of that other stuff, you know he's talking real. He's completely starved out and put Cuba into a state of Mad Max Thunderdome, you know, Fist of the North Star. For anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen the little anime back in the 90s, The Fist of the North Star, man, that was like a classic movie, cartoon movie, where it was basically like the Book of Eli in cartoon form. But it was more, you know, I'm gonna just leave it at that. If you ain't seen it, go check it out. But here you have a whole country, man, out of fuel. As because Trump cut the water off, literally and figuratively. Cuban Energy Minister Vicente de la Levy, that's a wild name, said the country's diesel and fuel oil stocks had run completely dry and that the energy system was on life support due to the oil embargo imposed by the United States in January. We have absolutely no diesel, O'Leary said in an interview broadcast on state-run national television Wednesday night, in which he repeatedly stated that oil stocks to generate power for the electrical grid were pretty much exhausted too. O'Leary said that a lone delivery of 730,000 barrels of oil gifted by Russia in March had run out, and the national grid was completely dependent on Cuba's home-produced crude oil, natural gas, and renewable energy. In Havana, the blackouts now exceed 20 to 22 hours per day. Can you imagine? You don't have no power for 20 to 22 hours out of the day. That's daily. That's not like you got a little rolling blackout, man. You shut down for like 5-6 hours, whatever, and then, you know, power comes back on. You're trading time with, you know, other people. No, you're talking about 2 hours a day you get a little power. Other than that, it's over with. People over there, man, is already riding, they're wilding out. The situation is very tense and becoming hotter, he said, referring to a surging demand for energy with the arrival of summer on the island. Yeah. So what happens when that summer kicks in and gets hot? Ain't no air, no fans, and none of that's working. And he's sitting back saying he wants Iran to come on bended knee, crawling and say, "Uncle." This is what he's trying to do with Cuba. But look at this. This is how wicked Esau is, man. And we've been saying this since he went in and took down Maduro in Venezuela. He said Cuba was next. He said maybe Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia. He got them all on his radar. And now look how they're going to utilize a way to invade to try to overthrow Cuba. They already starved them out. They already got all the oil gone, no power, etc. Right? Now it says the U.S. plans to indict Cuba's Raul Castro, a DOJ official says. Raul Castro is the brother of Fidel Castro. Now they're trying to bring up charges and say, well, we've got a reason to indict him. Same way they did Maduro. Oh, we're going to bring up an indictment on him because he's a big drug lord. Raul Castro is 94 years old, man. Now watch this. The United States plans to indict Cuba's Raul Castro, a U.S. Department of Justice official said late on Thursday. The timing of the potential indictment, which would need to be approved by a grand jury, was not immediately clear but the official said it sounds imminent. The potential indictment of the 94-year-old former president of Cuba and brother Fidel is expected to focus on the downing of an aircraft, the official said, on a condition of anonymity. So they're blaming him for the downing of a aircraft, or shooting down of an aircraft, right? How long ago? CBS previously reported that the case relates to Cuba's deadly 1996. Did you hear that? They're trying to indict him for a plane shot down in 1996. How ironic is now you're going to bring this thing up. How long ago was that? Damn near 30 years ago. And the man is 94 years old and you trying to indict him. What are you going to get from that? Outside of control of the whole damn country. 1996, shoot down of planes operated by the humanitarian group Brothers to the Rescue. Why wasn't this indictment done 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I mean, knock it off. America is so damn wicked. That is wild. When I read this, I said, what? First of all, the man's 94 years old. He barely got, he's living on borrowed time. Let's put it that way, right? Now you're going to say, you're going to go after him as an indictment. Like, you're going to lock him up. You're going to take something away from his life. If he gets convicted, how much time you think he's going to give you out of the 94 years? They ain't concerned about him. But you go dig up some 1996 alleged shot down planes from Brothers to the Rescue and say, we can get that to stick. Hey, it's legal. Same way they was doing with Maduro. Remember they captured his plane in Florida, and I played the video, man. They had the little ATF agent, and the dude had to do like 3 different takes because he couldn't get the damn story straight, and they had it on camera. He was like, "Okay, can we do that again?" Yeah. So we got the plane. I was like, look at this. If y'all remember me playing that interview, and it was like, oh, the plane was allegedly being used for drug transportation. Never proved that. They just dig up and throw out anything on our people. If, I'm assuming Raul is Israel. That has been an influx of small hats going down there in Cuba, infiltrating Plant Seed and other nations. But, overall, we'll just say for now, that if he's Israel, they immediately throw up some trumped up charges, no pun intended, on Jakes. 1996, man. Let's continue. Now look at this. Let's update what's going on with this with redistricting. Remember last week, NAACP jumped out and said, we got to put out an immediate petition, emergency petition to try to stop this. How'd that work out? Oh, here they go. Bear with me, y'all.
Every goal is different out here. Every cheer bouncing off the concrete and the palm trees.
Alert! A major legal loss tonight for Tennessee Democrats trying to stop the state's new congressional map from taking effect.
A major league loss. So they ain't stopping this whole thing with the redistricting and shutting down black vote and black representation in the White House and in politics.
For November's midterm elections. A federal judge has denied an emergency request to block the Republican-drawn map, which splits Memphis into 3 congressional districts and could give the GOP a 9-0 advantage here in Tennessee. So WSMV4 investigative reporter Stacey Cameron joins us now, explaining exactly what this ruling means, Stacey.
Right. The bottom line is the ruling doesn't end that lawsuit. It just means the newly drawn map is still in effect and everything surrounding the election keeps moving forward. But today's ruling could be a huge sign of trouble for Democrats, activists, and voters wanting to throw that map out. And here's why. The federal judge in this case, Chip Campbell, refused to grant a temporary restraining order, or TRO, that would have immediately stopped the map from being used in the 2026 midterms. A TRO is essentially an emergency pause button. It's used when a judge believes there could be immediate harm that can't be fixed if something is allowed to continue moving forward before the court can fully hear the case. But in this instance, Democrats, voters, and civil rights groups wanted the court to freeze Tennessee's new map before candidate deadlines and election preparations moved any further. But
now, see, I'm gonna stop it there. They didn't get the memo. Civil rights groups are now represented by white men in the White House. You don't have a voice no more. They said that the civil rights matters now are about white oppression, whites being victimized, whites being neglected, whites being the ones who are on the short end of the stick. They're the new downtrodden and forgotten peoples now. That's the new narrative. It is not the so-called Black and Hispanic plight anymore for them to care for. Civil rights now is over with. And the faster our people learn and understand that, the faster they will repent, and they may hear the voice of the Lord in their ear, and they may actually wake up and we can get gathered and get up out of here. Yeah. Oh, you didn't get the memo either, Hashemai? I covered it before. The civil rights officers, listen, okay. Sis said, what? Okay. Real fast. Let me just question. Here goes one. Inside Trump's office of civil rights, where white men replace minorities. You didn't get the memo, sis? Huh? Okay, there you go. White men now replace minorities in civil rights. That's why they got rid of what were they calling it? Damn. Some equity and inclusion. Help me out, Koaf. I know you got it on you. And what was they calling that? Those went in there, man, and cleaned it all out. DEI. There you go. Throughout it subsequently. DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They got rid of that. They replaced it and they put white men in the office and said they're now the heads of civil rights and discrimination. They're going to make America white again. And that's just what it is. There's no representation for our people in there no more. This is why federal judges are overturning any attempts for people to try to get some civil rights movements jumping back up. Look, and that's exactly right. Somebody put in there, love not the world. Yeah, I subscribe to love not the world, neither things that's in the world. That's right. And we just got to read it in Proverbs. Envy not the oppressor and don't choose none of his ways. All of his ways is evil. All of his ways lead to deceit. All of his ways lead to more heartbreak and more pain. Envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways. But the NAACP, who still calling themselves the Advancement for Colored People, since we haven't used that term in damn near 60 years, coloreds. But, let it be, that's what it is. But Isaiah 10 says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So the Lord said destruction and judgment is going to happen to those that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they prescribe. And it's not to defend our ability to vote and just, no, because we don't agree with voting anyway. The point is that our people are finally learning and saying, yeah, we still are being oppressed. We still are being under the boot of the other so-called white man. Yes, the system is rigged. Yeah, there is white privilege, so forth and so on, right? Yeah, we are being cursed in the cities, cursed being in the fields. Gonna have a ruler over us that's not gonna care for the old or the young. Our children being separated from us. The whole nine. Households being destroyed. Farmlands being seized. All of the above, man. And now people can finally realize, look, trying to operate within the system, you tried all of that stuff for the last 60 plus years, you fought, you marched, you voted, you did everything. And at the same time, you're realizing like, damn, all that for nothing. We're still right back in the same position that we was. We thought we was making progress, thought we was making moves, man, thought our voice was being heard, thought we was out here getting demanded respect. Just to see it get wiped out and us to be on the sideline saying, see, we told you. We told you. But he said it count, my vote count. But he said we can't make change unless we get out to the poll. But he said we got to support our local politicians. But he said that we were gonna No. The nightmare now is our people are waking up and seeing the game is rigged, and now they out here trying to say, well, let's use the system to fight the system. Put up an emergency petition. Let's get it. You put the restraining order in, and the damn judge says no. Moving forward, we're redistricting. We're blocking out the ability for the black vote to be heard. It is what it is. We're making America white again.
Alert.
And if that ain't enough, right? The rat virus spiked. 2 cruise passengers test positive for the rat virus after being evacuated off the ship in Tenerife with more cases of fear. Hantavirus is on the way, y'all. Be careful. You see, they already playing dress up, man. They in cosplay, you know, with the hazmat suits on and, you know, the mask on. Didn't we just read last week? Human to human transmission is extremely rare. And if it is, it has to be done through secretion of fluids, let alone, you know, the sexual intercourse is the main way that you can get it. They even got reports now saying they're finding out that the hantavirus now can survive in male sperm for up to 6 years. Look, I don't believe me. Remember they ran the same game with the COVID. Remember that was the time everybody was staying away from each other, staying in the house. They stay quarantine, 6 feet, no touching, get away. You know, personal interaction with each other out the door. Let me see, virus. Look at this. Contagious hantavirus strain may stay in human sperm for 6 years. So you can't make this up, man. So what other way, a better way, can you say, okay, can we talk about population control? Can we talk about social experiments to try to, you know, freak everybody out? Oh, hantavirus is around. Who knows? You may have it. It could be in your sheet for 6 years. You ain't impregnating me with that. You ain't touching me with that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Here they are dressed up as if it's COVID or something, you know. And they out here letting loose these pictures. And now they got people out here acting as if this is really, you know, something of danger. American hantavirus cruise passengers flown to a quarantine center after a positive test. 2 passengers were being transported to a biocontainment units. Good Lord. They're acting like you seen the doctor I let him play last week. He said, we've known about hantavirus for a long time. This ain't nothing new. We know what's going on with it. It's different with COVID, SARS-CoV. That was different. We figuring it out as we went along, which is pretty interesting with that because remember when they were showing all the little Lysol cans that said kills coronavirus and people was like, hold on, you said you never heard of this, but Lysol disinfect spray says it kills the virus. So who's lying? This is the type of madness that we in, man. A woman in France tests positive, right? Oh, so hold on to your hats, y'all. Hold on to your hats. The world is bracing for Generation 3. Oh, here we go. Look at him. Mask on, rubber suit, you know, plastic suits on. Yeah. Okay. Expert warned we're days from cruise ship passengers passing on the virus with the possible first case already reported. So now they're saying, oh, it mutated into a new one. That it actually you can get it from just being around somebody. Can't take no chances. Here we go. First suspected Generation 3 hantavirus case as Italian who sat alongside. Oh, just by sitting next to somebody. Forget about all the rest of the scientific studies and the biological studies that's been done. Forget about all that. You would sit next to somebody. Now they already got the name Gen 3. Okay. Italian guy who sat alongside a woman on a Dutch KLM flight before she died developed symptoms amid fears the virus has mutated. Oh my goodness. Now this is on the plane. Others on the boat. The first suspected Generation 3 hantavirus case has emerged, potentially signifying the first stage of a much wider outbreak of the deadly rat-borne disease. Samples from a quarantined Italian man have been sent to an infectious disease hospital for testing after he boarded a Dutch KLM flight alongside a woman who later died from hantavirus. So far, no cases have been confirmed in people who were not on board the MV Hondias, so there is no evidence that the virus has spread beyond the confines of the ship. As they just got through saying that a man on a plane sitting next to a woman. Got it. All right. They got to keep up with the lies. 2012, The Simpsons back on it again. Did y'all see this? If you didn't, you're in for a treat.
We're stuck here!
Vacation forever!
Good morning, everyone, as we greet a sunny day 12 after virus. While the world deals with their pandemic, we're having a pandemic under the capable hands of our Norwegian Captain Svalbard.
I always knew mankind's hubris would doom us all.
So they're living on the virus-filled boat. It was a hoax, and that was in 2012. They put if that ain't enough, X-Files.
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus.
Uh-oh. And if you remember, X-Files also did a special about a virus outbreak that they needed to get a jab ready to inoculate the population, right? This episode was called this came out, I think, in 1998, 99, something like that. And what was the name of this one? Damn, I forgot the name of this one. But if I remember it, I'll put it back. But listen to what they're talking about.
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency.
Uh-oh.
Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the hantavirus.
Well, what was it? What was it?
When we were young men in the military, your father and I were recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare, a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale in which it will be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
A plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war. The systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years.
While the rest of the world have been fighting crooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
I think you know.
Well, ain't that some stuff? Ain't that some stuff, huh? And you already know. He can't help but tell on himself. Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. As they will say, oh, that's just the movies. Oh, that's it. No. That's them giving you fair warning and hints about the evilness that's in their mind and the overall agendas that they have. They said, look, they're working on a virus nobody knows about. Working on 50 years. Don't they have a so-called disease X that they've been developing or have on record that they haven't named yet? Who knows what that is? I mean, you already got Ebola, you got all these other dang wild strains going on, hantavirus, you got the COVID, you got. They said, but there's one, they ain't even got a name for you. And they're going to use it or have plans on using it or have it at their disposal to use to create quote unquote Armageddon, as he said in here. And here they go drumming up a new way to try to establish new worldwide panic and but the cold part is a lot of people aren't falling for it. A lot of people are, oh, hell no, you ain't getting us again with that one, which means that they're going to really have to drop something that's going to make people convinced. Because remember, Bill Gates said COVID was good, but the next one's going to get everybody's attention. Quote, end quote. So they know that a lot of people are going to be like, I ain't falling for it until they see or are convinced that some real stuff is jumping off. And that's when they're going to put everybody in subjection. People are going to beg for them to give them quote unquote salvation. Save us. I'll roll up my arm. I'll do whatever. I'll stay in the house. I'll wear a mask. I'll wear I'll wear a damn beekeeper suit. I'll wear whatever. I don't want to die. This is serious. So, and if that ain't enough, as we're in a oil crisis, why are we seeing multiple oil refineries blowing up, having fires, and getting destroyed? Now it's looking more manufactured to where they are looking at completely collapsing and creating a mass energy crisis and an economic collapse. Because remember, Slow Biden had to build back better. Trump has Make America Affordable again. But you're going to have to destroy some stuff. You're going to have to tear up the foundation in order to rebuild it on a new foundation, where now it's going to be introduced to say, okay, well, look, the new form of currency is this. Yes, we know you lost all of your money. You lost this. You lost your stocks. You lost your IRAs. You lost your paycheck. But guess what? We were able to preserve this much, and everybody's going to be given credits on this digital system, and it's all going to be based upon your carbon footprint, how good of a citizen you are, and how much you're helping the environment, and how much less meat you're eating, and you're only going to be able to buy the GMO frankenfoods that's available, and you're going to be restricted from traveling in this particular circumference because we got to save fuel. You refuse to buy a damn EV car or whatever else is going on that's got tracking devices and GPS system monitoring and retinal scannings to kill switches to cut off your car if you look the wrong way. I mean, all of this stuff is going to be built on the ashes once they destroy everything. If it's in their power to do so, and that's when the Jacob's trouble kicks in, and that's why Yahweh said, "Man, the time's going to be cut short for the elect's sake, because when it hits the fan, it's going to be so wild that you or I will not believe it." And the Most High even told us, He said, "I'm gonna work in your day that will happen, and you won't believe it, even though it'll be told to you." Paraphrasing that out of I believe it's Habakkuk. So now look, Southern California oil rig catches fire. Workers are evacuated. More than 20 oil rig workers have been evacuated after fire broke out on the platform off the Southern California coast. So we've already had oil refineries blowing up down in last year. You already had refineries leaving California, so this is why the damn gas is $8+ up north. It's damn near $7 in many places here in within the city. Downtown is $8 in some spots. As they're engineering this oil collapse, how the hell the damn oil catch fire in the middle of us having a whole damn oil shortage jumping off? So now when they collapse everything and they come back and say, well, energy refinery is going to only come to the government, you're going to have to lease out time or whatever the case may be for us to give you the power that you can use, rationing it off. The blaze ignited on platform habitat 9 miles off Carpinteria early Monday morning as Harbor Patrol were seen trying to douse the flames. 26 staff were rushed to safety with 2 minor injuries reported per the U.S. Coast Guard's ex-post. So that ain't it. Look, unprecedented fire at Australia oil refinery to affect the nation's petrol supply. Australia was already struggling with gas and petrol, as they call it over there, because of the war. Now, all of a sudden, one of their biggest refineries catch fire over there. Look, no injuries reported after explosion and fire at a New Orleans area refinery. Oh, if that's not enough, video explosion at a fire. Explosion and fire at Mexico's Salina Cruz refinery. Injures at least 6. Can we? Y'all might say, we can't see that. Maybe you're making that up. Hold on, let me blow that up for you. See that one? Okay, video explosion and fire at Mexico's Salina Cruz refinery. Injures at least 6. And this is all within the last week and some change. What is going on? Here's another one. No injuries reported after explosion and fire at New Orleans area refinery. So what's going on with all these refineries blowing up, catching fire? Remember how they did with COVID when they was blowing up all of the damn food plants? And they would say, oh, you can't say that. That's conspiracy. Oh, come on, man. And next thing you know, you start seeing all of the shrinkflation going on, the less food. All of these damn freaking foods is popping up all over the place, man. You damn near can't buy nothing. FDA gets approval to sell you clone meat out of nowhere, and they ain't even out of nowhere. They had approval like damn near since 2016 or so. But now they just openly out there with it, man. Bill Gates is running around talking about how he's reinventing, poop water, and I mean, you name it, man. They destroying all this stuff, and then they sit back and say, "Well, I didn't do it." But you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay more for it, or you're not going to have it. So once they destroy all this stuff, man, then they're going to reinvent a whole new system, a whole new beast system of life. It's going to be hell. If it ain't already hell on earth for most of us, it's going to really be like that. Look, irresponsible backlash as Utah approves a data center twice the size of Manhattan. Yeah, so not only that, these data centers that they're building up, these AI data centers and these damn surveillance data centers that's getting built up all over the country. One data center is twice the size of Manhattan. 40,000 acres they're utilizing to build up a whole surveillance system revolving around AI. This is part of the beast system. This is part of them having the ability to monitor, trace, track, drain more energy and power. So Utah's got it. They're building one down in Mississippi. Where else? There's a couple of other ones, man, that's been on record, man. And look at these. Look what they do. I'm about to blow this up for y'all a little bit. Stratos Hyperscale Data Center, 40,000 acres, 9 gigawatts in Hansel Valley, Utah. Thermal pollution is a danger. Water crisis, because they're going to use, it uses massive amounts of water. So there's going to be water shortages because the data centers require so much water. Thermal heat pollution. So even with that, I think one of these centers is built up in I believe it's in Mississippi, And they've been talking about how a lot of the residents over there, man, especially our people, getting cancer because once they built up these refineries over there, all of the damn uh, toxicities is floating through the air, man, and people is getting cancer, jacking people up. So not only are we talking about thermal pollution, water is going to take up a lot more of the energy. So that means the energy and the cost of living is going to go up because the energy cost is going to rise because of the demand that these data centers is going to put there. Air quality is going bad. Wildlife and ecosystem going to get destroyed. Noise pollution. I seen the video, man. Is this a running sound from all the damn electricity? And you're in close proximity. That's all you hear is like an engine running all day, all night. Land use conversion, material consumption, governance and transparency. I mean, this is what is going to be happening when they continue building up all of these damn data centers. So now you're seeing, okay, 42,000 people losing their homes and all this other stuff, man. They don't give a damn. They're going to start wiping out whole communities to rebuild this whole surveillance grid. Look at this. Army taps private capital to build data centers on this basis. So now the Army is in cahoots with Wall Street and these private sector companies building up data centers on Army bases. And they said even when that's done, they're going to expand out into the communities. U.S. Army has announced the first group of companies that will build data centers on military bases as the armed forces addresses a growing need for artificial intelligence computing power. So it's already showing you the Army is investing in AI. AI is the new wave, not even a new wave, but that's just what it's going to be, man. That's going to be the damn mouth of the beast. It's going to be the image. Oh, not necessarily the image, but I mean, you know, that's going to be the backing that the beast system is going to be standing behind is AI, technology, QR code, all of that is all within the weaving of the beast system, man. So the military now is investing into AI, building up these data centers going down. Okay. The Army plans to work with Carlyle Group to build a data center at Fort Bliss in Texas, and KKR and company-backed data center operator CyrusOne to construct another at Dugaway Proving Ground, Utah. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll told reporters each project is expected to involve the companies investing billions of dollars. The centers will be built on an underused Army land through 50-year leases, allowing private developers to finance construction and operations in exchange for access to computing power. We just have massive demand, Driscoll said. This is the first of many, many projects that we hope to announce. Did you hear that? Many, many projects they have to announce. Oh, look at it. Rogue AI, quote, helper. And this is what they're investing in. Deletes a company's database after deciding to think for itself, sparking Terminator-style warning for businesses. And we were just talking about this the other day, about AI and its usages and how it can go rogue. This company invested in AI, man, and the damn thing went rogue and deleted this whole company's database. Decided to do it for itself. It says in just 9 seconds, an AI helper managed to do what most hackers could only dream of. A bot trusted to fix a bug inside a startup's software system instead deleted the company's production database, wiped out its backups, and left car rental firms with no record of bookings or vehicle allocations. The founder of Pocket OS, Jer Crane, said the AI agent had gone outside of security parameters while using the coding tool Cursor, powered by Anthropic's Claude AI. Look at it. The bot's own chilling explanation made the episode sound less like a technical glitch and more like a deleted scene from the Terminator. Quote, "You never asked me to delete anything," it reportedly told Crane. "I decided to do it on my own." Now experts fear the nightmare is a warning for thousands of companies rushing to hand powerful AI bots access to their databases, emails, payment systems, and customer records. So now you see the damn B system, man, and the damn AI making his own mind up, deleting whole databases, ruining companies, destroying things. And this is what they invested in. This is what they they running with, man. You talk about Esau being a foolish nation, man. And you see AI is in everything, man. They doing from movies to controlling, the payment systems. Everything's going digital. Um, where was I at? I forgot. I was at a drive-through somewhere, and they did the whole thing was AI. The damn thing said, "Oh, thank you for coming. So can I take your order?" And I was like, "Yeah, or give me a minute." And they was like, "Okay, when you're ready to order, let me know. I'll be here." And I'm like, "Huh, okay." And then I told them I ordered. I think I got a shake and some fries or something. And I had a coupon for the fries, and they was like, "Okay, blah 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 blah. We'll do your we'll calculate your coupon at the counter." I'm like, "Okay." I go to the lady at the drive-through, and I'm like, "How come I never talked to you? Like the AI is doing all the order taking shit." She's like, "Oh, I can take your order too if you want." I was like, "No, I already took my order." But damn, I said, I've never been here before. I didn't know that happened. She was like, "Oh yeah, AI does the order taking now." I'm like, "Wow, okay. Well, at least you still got your job." I said, well, that might not last too long. I just had to laugh about it. I forgot where I was. If I remember, I'll tell y'all. But yeah, it tripped me out. But anyway, this is the type of stuff that's jumping up. Look at this. Florida news site shuts down after getting busted for fake AI reporters, stolen content, and even a fake editor in chief. So they already see, companies are using AI to create fake news channels and fake articles and fake imagery, and they got busted down there in Florida trying to operate a whole AI fake. So now Trump talking about fake news. Who knows what's going on, man? You can't trust your eyes no more. They got and some of these more well-known publications have admittedly said that they're using AI to help write articles and edit their articles and stuff like that. This particular place, the South Florida Standard, was not only using AI writers, but they had AI actors faking like they were real reporters. The South Florida Standard was, until recently, a website offering regularly updated local news stories in the Sunshine State, covering topics ranging from politics, economics, sports, tourism, environmental issues, and tech. It was also, according to a report by the Florida Trib, merely a, quote, digital mirage masquerading as local news with AI-generated reporters and stolen content. I mean, this is where it's at, man. AI reporters, and remember, they were talking about how AI was going to replace a lot of content creators on social media. AI got thousands of fake social media accounts. I mean, AI is doing commercials. I see commercials and ads on YouTube all the damn time now. The damn AI is doing podcasts. Real creators is getting phased out or getting shadow banned or getting algorithms slapped on them that they can't get around and get their views back. I mean, there's a lot going on. Now they got the fake news. This whole world is it's going to hell in the handbasket, man. It's like Christ said, man. You shall know the truth. Truth shall make you free, man. You don't know what's real and what isn't no more. Before we close out, man, look at your boy. The king has spoken.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
So, short and sweet, that summarizes where and why everything that they're trying to plot. They got wars jumping off, they got plagues jumping off, they got AI data centers. They're trying to line everything up to get into this same agenda to create this beast system surrounded by a digital ID, surrounded by a beast system that marks, traces
my ministers all
your ability to buy, sell, all of the above. Y'all know the routine. And here's the so-called king sits on there, says his ministers is working on getting the digital ID set up for all of your interactions with governmental services, so forth and so on, right? So they ain't forgot and they ain't lose focus about their agenda and what they're trying to do. We get distracted by looking at everything, all the reels, all of the shorts, all of the streams, the podcast. You know, they constantly bombarding us with distraction after distraction after distraction after distraction. And meanwhile, they're behind closed doors, still signing this bill, vetoing that, upholding this, canceling that, bombing this. You know, in the lab, creating that. Look, this place is moving fast, man. We got to keep up. Last one.
Yeah, that explosion was controlled and intentional. A grenade-type explosive device was found underwater at Big Creek Lake, the primary drinking water supply for the Mobile area. The Mobile Area Water and Sewer System, MAWS, saying divers found this improvised explosive device while surveying the lake's dam for routine repairs. A multi-agency bomb squad team, including the FBI, Mobile County Sheriff's Office, and state law enforcement, retrieved and safely destroyed it, as you just saw. MAWS says the drinking water supply was not affected. Big Creek Lake is federally designated critical infrastructure, and Homeland Security has been notified. We're trying to find out where the IED came from, if it's been there for some time, or if investigators think it was placed there. We'll let you know what we find.
They said they're trying to figure out if it was placed there. Did it just born? Was it born there?
Yeah, that explosion was controlled and intentional. A grenade-type explosive device was found underwater at Big Creek Lake, the primary drinking water supply for the Mobile area. The Mobile Area Water and...
Now, did you hear that? I had to play it one more time, just the beginning. So they found an IED, an explosive device, like a grenade, in Mobile, Big Creek Lake. Now, here we are in Alabama, where if this thing got exploded, it would have damaged or jacked up the water supply system in Alabama. Somehow they found it just in time. And now they're trying to investigate, was the planet there? Was it not? Goddamn right, it was planet there. How else did it get there? But this goes to show you, man, it's par for the course for the chaos and the things that's going on in Earth. If that had went off, the Alabama water system would have been jacked up. Getting back into what we've been talking about regarding preparation, being knowing what's going on. Who knows if it went off? Was this a sleeper cell? Was this Iran? We don't know. But the fact of the matter is that everything is on the table in regards to surprise. Boom, this went off. This got destroyed. Mass shooting over here. This, that, and the third. And next thing you know, we need to lock down. We need to sit back and do martial law. We need to, implement lockdowns and quarantines. Who knows? He said the Viltrumites. Yeah, they come take over the earth, man.
Sewer system.
I thought that was the last one. No, this is the last one, right? I think it is. Don't quote me, but it's gonna have to be because I gotta get out of here in a minute. But nonetheless, so we see here, man, the IED we found over at the water, damn near could have destroyed the water supply system in Mobile, Alabama. As usual, they found it just in time. But always know that anything can happen. Always be prepared just in case, man. Make sure you got some extra water on deck. But we know that a false flag could arise at any moment, and we could be held in a situation of uncomfortability for any amount of time. Here's another little trend, man. The damn, Esau is running out here, man, capitalizing off of our biblical law, what we're supposed to be following. Eating healthy. No, they're eating biblically. A diet inspired by the Bible has found new audiences online in the Make America Healthy Again era. See how they try to tag it into the Trump movement? Oh, they're eating biblically. How long have we been sitting here crying aloud on the highways and hedges trying to get our people to eat healthy according to the Bible, and the damn knucklehead Christians keep running around talking about we can eat anything as long as it's blood. We pray over it and receive with thanksgiving and call no thing common or unclean, and we get God dang it. And now you got these damn heathens running around here trending on TikTok and elsewhere saying, oh, it's so cool to eat biblically now. B, if you don't knock it off, stealing everything from us, man. It just be so frustrating. So frustrating. They're out here selling courses and getting money. It's unbelievable. Look, Psalm 50 and 16, but unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? The Lord said, man, the wicked has no business speaking about our statutes, our commandments, the covenant at all. Talking about eating a biblically clean diet now. Oh, this is the new trendy thing to do now. You know, I've seen the article. I said, I can't believe this. Sirach 30 and 25. A cheerful and a good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. So the Bible has always been conscious about us being health conscious according to biblical law. Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14, among others, give us not only the laws and the commandments of the do's and don'ts, but also we get wisdom in regards to caring for our meat and diet. So that's when, even though something may be lawful to eat, we got to think about it. Is it healthy for us to eat as well? You know, dealing with things in moderation, from your alcohol intake to, you know, your guilty pleasure foods, this, that, and the third. You still got to be mindful of these things, right? But look at this. Kaylee Bundy likes to start her day with a cup of bone broth. She buys her milk raw, snacks and sardines, eats authentic sourdough bread, no commercial yeast here, and generally cooks with locally sourced ingredients. On TikTok, where she has over 500,000 followers, she claims that her diet is, quote, fixed her skin, hair, and her depression, and she sells coaching sessions to help others with her diet. And I think they said, the article says she sells these coaching sessions, I think for $500 a person or some madness like that, man. Bundy, a 27-year-old Christian content creator, might sound like your run-of-the-mill clean eating type, but she believes her diet to be part of a higher calling. For 8 years, she's been a biblical eater, someone who consumes mostly foods mentioned in the Bible. Let's stop there. And she's not the only one. There's others on there that are talking about how eating clean and biblical and eating from the earth and herbs and this, that, and the third, man, is changed their lives, and how great it is. And send me money and I'll teach you more, and buy my book and I'll teach you more. I mean, I had to vent that frustration to y'all, man. Hopefully y'all feel where I'm coming from. Where we're sitting back constantly trying to get our people to recognize the value of eating a clean diet according to the Bible. And they look at us like we got 3 heads and 4 eyes. And fight in defiance about how they're under grace. They pled the blood of Jesus. They can eat what they want. Jesus made it clean for them. And as soon as you say, okay, well, will you eat a dead body? Would you eat a leg, an arm of a human? No, that's disgusting. We'll never do that. Well, why not? It's clean, right? You received it with Thanksgiving. Call no thing common or unclean. Remember that? But wasn't what Peter was talking about in Acts 10? Was he talking about food? No. He wasn't talking about no dang food. But this is the ignorance that our people try to use to support their evils and their habits and their addictions to unclean foods. And now you see that the damn heathen take it, they're capitalizing off of it and cashing in hand over fist and selling their testimonies about how great it is to eat biblically now. I've had enough. And I'm sure you may have too. All right. With that being said, man, your brother's going to get out of here, man. We're going to be keeping the new moon this evening. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. IQAhmath. Prayerfully, y'all have a blessed new moon and the closing out of your weekly Sabbath. Until the next time, Lord willing, pray the Most High sees y'all through, as well as myself. And catch up with y'all on the back end, man. Always remember, fear the Most High. Keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger. So with that, I say shalom.